There's nothing quite like nightlife in the big city. You can go shopping, you can meet new people, and you're free to explore the town any way you damn well please. Of course, that works best if you're a common street rat. One of those nocturnal creatures ready to start their day with a stale bagel they found in your trash. But to many cities around our nation, rats aren't the urban equivalent of furry little squirrels, stashing away discarded pizza slices found in the subway instead of acorns. They're a scourge, not just to Pixar chefs, but to the public at large. After all, the CDC says these rodents carry everything from monkeypox to rat bite fever, and can even indirectly spread the plague. That Black Death thing that killed like 50 million people in Europe back in the 1400s. That was a bad time, but at least it gave way to people dressing up like very formal birds. Now these days, perhaps above all other public figures, New York City Mayor Eric Adams has a notably strong aversion to rats.
Many of us live in communities where rats think they run the city. You start your car, and all of a sudden you hear something under it, you put up the hood, you see 3 rats under there. You go put out your garbage, and you see rats coming through the garbage bags. Or you're in your hallway, your basement. Rats impact how you feel about the city that you're in, and that's why we're taking this serious.
As noted by this New York City politician, rats absolutely make the most of their nightlife.
They live to be about 2 years, but mature within 2 months, mate within 2 seconds, and rat can produce 8 to 10 babies after 6 times a year. That's 120 rats for each rat mother during their lifetime.
Back in 2019, when he was Brooklyn Borough president, Adams proposed the use of an Italian machine that traps rats and drowns them in an alcohol-based solution.
Remember when I came out with that rat device? You know, I had a rat device. We caught 96 rats around Brooklyn Borough Hall. 96 rats. And, you know, there were people that were yelling, you know, oh, you murderer, you murderer. You know, we can't be philosophical about things that impact the quality of life of New Yorkers.
And earlier this year, after receiving around 900 applications for a 6-figure position, New York City appointed its first rat czar here to help decimate the rodent population.
Rats and the conditions that support their thriving will no longer be tolerated in New York City. No more dirty curbs, unmanaged spaces, or brazen burrowing. There's a new sheriff in town. And with your help, we'll send those rats packing.
The city says that thanks to their new rat mitigation efforts, 311 calls about rat activity have dropped 20% across New York compared to last summer. And new anti-rat measures are in the process of being implemented, like changing the time you're allowed to let garbage pile up on the sidewalk for all your neighbors to enjoy from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., rolling out new rules requiring food-related businesses to put their trash in containers, and piloting a program that would have residents place their trash in trash cans by 2026. Wow. In case you're wondering why New York City doesn't require the use of outdoor trash storage like most of the civilized world, instead opting to pile it up on the curb in urban dolomites for bucolic rat mutations, it's not just because we lack alleys here in Fun City. According to the New York Times, a pilot program in the late 60s tested the use of large paper garbage bags in place of loud metal garbage cans. And after a garbage strike and the addition of plastic bags, that practice pretty much stuck around. At the time, the Health Department's Assistant Commissioner for Environmental Health even noted the bags might be more sanitary because they contained the garbage more efficiently and might not attract rats. With an estimated population of 3 million rats today, not only are rats attracted to New York, so are rat tourists, who, according to the New York Post, follow along with live-streamed TikTok explorations of the city's rat infestations, and even attend in-person guided tours of the city that include late-night rat hotspots near Rockefeller Center, which I assume means the Pebble Bar. So having said all this, from the pizza rat to the mayor's alcohol-soaked Olive Garden death traps, New York City must be the rat capital of our fair nation, right? The place of an intrepid young rodent's dream, where they board an eastbound bus so they can end up backstage on Broadway to feast on the green room spread. Actually, no. Every year, the good people at the pest control company Orkin puts out a list of its top 50 rattiest cities. Unlike those cute rankings in niche for the cities with the best public schools or the best cities for young professionals, Orkin's list ranks towns in our fair republic based on the number of new rodent services required, showcasing both demand for rodent services and efforts that residents and businesses have taken to treat rodent issues. Orkin says it ranked this year's metro regions based on the number of residential and commercial new rodent treatments performed between September 1st, 2022 and the end of August 2023. And it looks like whatever New York City is up to must be working to some extent. Because after being ranked number 2 in the nation in 2022, this year it's taking 3rd. So congrats, New York. When it comes to rats, you're number 3. Coming in at number 2 is where all the rats go when they decide to leave crowded subways for crowded highways, Los Angeles, California. And the top spot, the king of the rats, Mr. Charles Entertainment Cheese himself, goes to Chicago, Illinois. That's right, Chicago. And this dubious honor isn't a one-time affair. This is the 9th year in a row Chicago has been named our nation's rattiest city. Forget the Windy City, the Second City, City on the Lake, Chi-Town, the City of Big Shoulders, Shiberia, Chirac, or the City in a Garden. This rat-ass town is so ratty, Orkin even gave away free t-shirts proudly declaring Chicago to be the rattiest city, and they're already out of them. Okay, so why exactly is Chicago such a rat-ass town? Can't they just take those goats they use to clean up O'Hare in the summer and let them loose in the loop to chow down on some rat protein for the winter? Well, according to an investigation by Block Club Chicago, the city had more than 50,000 rat complaints last year, but the bureau that handles these issues is understaffed and under-resourced. The most prominent rat plaguing Chicago is the Norway rat, of which females can produce more than 50 offspring a year, and in the right environment, perhaps with candlelight, a few shots of Malort, and a discarded dog dragged through the garden, 2 rats can turn into several thousand over a year. Earlier this year, Chicago's Inspector General's office said it would audit the effectiveness of the city's Bureau of Rodent Control. And about a week and a half ago, in the city's 2024 budget proposal, Mayor Brandon Johnson proposed spending an additional $1.5 million to deal with the rat problem. And in the event that this new budget helps Chicago mitigate its infestation of Norwegian rodents, so people out in the West Loop can go back to enjoying dining al fresco in peace. I wouldn't expect Chicagoans to start sleeping soundly at night quite yet. They're also this year's #1 city for bed bugs too.